Hey guys, welcome in. So, today we're going to discuss episodes 3 and 4 of Maul Shadow Lord, which pick up almost immediately after episode 1 and 2. Which, mind you, like I mentioned previously, it was a bit abrupt how episode 2 ended, just immediately. Like, she force pushes her way out of the prison chamber, and then she takes one look at the camera or past the camera, and then poof, episode ended. And I was like, oh, we're not even going to get to see like Maul's reaction. But thankfully, with episode 3, it picks up immediately right after that. Doesn't leave you waiting whatsoever. And I gotta say, with episodes 3 and 4, the story pacing has been only getting more intense, and it's been making me really happy to see, because we're getting to hear more now about Maul's thought processes, the way he views the world, the universe, everything, the way things are going. I mean, the whole scene with like Devin in the dark when she snatches the lightsaber and he's like telling her all about the institutions failing and stuff like that. I really loved that moment, by the way. That was peak Maul behavior for sure. Um Definitely episodes 3 and 4 have definitely pulled me way more into the show than I think episodes 1 and 2 did. And it's funny because we learned some fun things when the show was before we started watching. We learned some fun things. For example, we learned that the voice actor for the main detective is the same one who played Death from Puss in Boots, which it's funny now that because it's like when we learned that now you can't unhear the voice because it's like the same gravelly. He speaks in that same gravel tone, which is really cool. I also learned that the voice of the Jedi Master, the old one, it's the Allstate guy.
Oh, really?
It's the Allstate guy, the guy that's always in the commercials. The older black guy. It's him.
I can hear it now.
So what do you think really quick about episodes 3 and 4?
I really liked how the pacing starts to kick up. First off, there were a lot of details I really enjoyed. Like you said, that just tense scene in episode 3 where it begins, where first Maul says, well, you can leave whenever you want. But then, like, he gives Devin this whole trial to kind of like then leads her on, and then you get to start seeing how deceptive and cunning Maul really is during these two episodes, and you also get to find out more about the Jedi and the Padawan. And the last thing I want to say is the lightsaber duel and the battle at the end of episode 4 is probably, spoiler alert, is probably the
Oh, you don't have to worry about
best
spoilers
battle
at
I've
this
seen in
point.
the Star Wars, the best battle I've seen in a Star Wars thing for a while.
The duels were definitely, both in episodes 3 and in 4, were definitely really enjoyable to watch. They really, one of my favorite things that I found out that they did is for Darth Maul's lightsaber specifically. If you listen very carefully, Sam Witwer, who's the voice actor of Darth Maul and famously Starkiller from the Force Unleashed games in the past, they actually took voice clips of him screaming in rage and anger and mixed them very subtly into Maul's lightsaber every time he swings the blade. You can very faintly hear a scream every time he moves his lightsaber, and I didn't know how to originally process that at first. I was like, I guess it. I mean, but then watching it and listening to it in action, it adds depth to the sinister nature of his character. And Maul was not pulling his punches at all in this show. Like the scene where he walked into the pikes and he activated the lightsaber in the dude's hand and just swirled it through his whole body, and they actually showed the whole thing. I was I was stunned. They're not pulling their punches on it. There's certain things they won't show. They imply, like that one time in like the first episode, I think it was, where he definitely does like the lunge forward and it looks like he's going to shove the lightsaber through the dude's head. Like there's certain things they won't show in that regard, but they're not hesitant on having him just straight up cutting people apart. Like this is definitely a lot more brutal for a show from the jump than the shows previously, because usually traditionally with Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch, it starts off more on the lighter side and then it gets more brutal as things go on. But this time, oh no, they were brutal from the jump. Which, fun fact, if I understand correctly, one of the key creators of the show is the one that's responsible for the Umbara arc during the Clone Wars, which if you remember that arc, it's a very brutal arc. So that makes sense. Um, Back to the duel though, especially at the end of episode 4, you said when the two Jedi are fighting Maul. One of the things I liked is that at this point in time, the old Jedi Master and Maul were very evenly matched in the fight for the most part. They both got in a wound on each other. Maul's leg got kicked in and the other guy's chest got kicked in. And it's a nice little good parallel, I think. I heard this from somewhere else. It's a nice parallel for Devin, who is still in an indecisive point right now with her beliefs. Where both of these potential masters, her current master and what could be potentially her new master, are both equal footing. But I'm gonna say it now, with the Empire's arrival at the end of episode 4, I don't see that old Jedi making it much longer. If I
He was injured.
Yes, if I have a prediction, I think the Inquisitors might get to him, and Devin might be forced to witness it. And as a fit of vengeance and a plea for help, she may go to Maul, and that may make those bridges connect.
That does track. We'll have to see where it goes.
We'll definitely have to see where it goes. I will say the show has been really interesting. I am happy to hear that they are working on a season 2. The other thing I was interested to learn was that the detective's former ex-wife is an Imperial, which definitely raises a lot of questions for sure, but also really makes you wonder where his animosity towards the Empire is. It because of his ex-wife or something else? That I'm interested to find out more about.
One thing I did like is you don't know, like the android, how they call in the Empire. There's a whole trade-off between the android and the detective through both episodes where there's this back and forth, like a cop. They mix a little bit of like procedural cop drama into this, and the way they just subtly do it and the interplay is beautiful. I really dig on that.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of one side is the criminal underworld, one side is like ideology around the Force with Maul and the Jedi, and then you've got the buddy cop, detective, crime scene mystery aspect thing that's going on as well. It's a dynamic that I definitely have been enjoying more in this medium. And I think they're pulling it off way more than what they intended to do. And I hate saying it this way, unfortunately, but I know people will agree. The Acolyte was supposed to be that dynamic too, where it was supposed to be a murder mystery kind of investigation, but it never quite hit those notes. Whereas this one, it's definitely getting the investigation notes, I feel. I feel they're hitting a lot more.
Well, we had that in Andor, but from the Andor side of it, it was the Imperial Bureau that was the investigative force. So we saw, like, instead of like the buddy cops, we saw the inner workings of the Empire's intelligence bureau and how they were trying to uncover the plot in Andor. So there's that dual storyline in Andor, and it looks like they're kind of doing a similar but different thing in Maul.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how the entire investigation and the detective work's going to be handled now with the Empire, because traditionally, as they stated, I mean, you saw all their devices were going off upon the Empire's arrival, and more than likely, from what I understand as a way too much of a nerd, I believe that's going to be the Imperial's way, just like you saw in Andor season 1 when the Empire came in. They told the local authorities, get out, you're done, we're taking over now. And I have a suspicion we might be seeing that. And if that ends up happening, this detective might end up having to go on his own and just freelance this stuff. There's really no telling. it's going to be interesting, especially if that Star Destroyer has his wife aboard. that that'll be
We'll see.
interesting.
We'll see where they go with that.
Oh, for sure. There's a lot to
Do you,
speculate. It's one of the joys I'm liking about these weekly releases. Though I do have to say, as much as I'm being happy being fed as much as we are each week, I do kind of wish they would have stretched it out and do one episode a week instead of two. Because it is going to be sad that it's going to be over before it began. But,
Only other thing I wanted to say was that these episodes, the pacing, it feels very good so far. I'm enjoying the pacing. Is one of the things I'm really enjoying from Maul is like you have really good interplay between like story development scenes and action. What are your final thoughts, Asher?
I'd have to say it's the same thing. It's definitely pulled me in, gripped me a lot more. It's got me asking questions, which is a good sign. It's got me eager to see where things go. Obviously, we know from the trailers that the Inquisitors are coming, but it's interesting to see how we get to these certain points. And I honestly am especially curious um, about developments we learned within these episodes about how they're going to pay off with like Devin and things. I don't know. At this point, as you can tell, my mind is like more on the future now because the episodes have done such a great job of pulling me in already. But I would definitely have to say episodes 3 and 4 are a huge improvement on top of episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm sucked in now.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's gonna definitely be. It's gonna be an interesting story. Definitely glad that they're gonna do a season 2 because I can tell right now that I would not be happy with only 10 episodes for first season for only one season. But anyway, guys, before we all get lost and rambling at this point, let me know if you guys have seen the episodes, what you thought about it in the comment section. And as always, I'm Asher. This is Lex. Stay kind, stay humble. May the force be with you. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.